One of the greatest adventures you can have in your gaming career is beating Elden Ring. Taking on massive bosses, exploring dark dungeons, and summoning various spirits to help you along the way. But what if you didn't have access to summons whatsoever? No help from NPCs for bosses, and no mimic tier to stop enemies from attacking you. After beating Elden Ring a few times with summons, I decided to play through the Souls series. Dark Souls 3 feeling like a pretty massive challenge at the time, but the bosses all felt special because of this. So why not make Elden Ring feel sort of the same way? Take on every single boss and actually learn their moves. Challenge the many monsters and beasts in the lands between as one single individual. This is how I beat Elden Ring with no summons. Starting off, we select the Prisoner as our class. Not only does the shirt and pants look kinda decent on this class, but it also starts with good strength and nice intelligence. The goal for this build is to use the Dark Moon Greatsword, or the Moon Light Greatsword from the other games. But since that's only available after the beautiful Ranni's questline, we'll be using mainly strength at the start. You're given Magic Glint Blade as a starting spell when choosing the Prisoner, and it's actually pretty darn good. With the Estoc's Ash of War, I shredded my way through the beginning area, collecting the Scholar's Armament spell, which buffs our melee weapon with magic, grabbing the Wondrous Physic to use with our strength tier, and looting the various upgrades for our health. Limgrave is littered with good upgrades for your character, and it's honestly one of my favorite areas. So much to do and see while listening to that gorgeous music in the background. I do want to mention that I attempted to complete every NPC quest in the game this time around. I missed one or two, but ended up getting through a lot of them. As this would be my first time playing Elden Ring without any additional help, I completed almost every cave I could find before each boss, just to make sure things went as smoothly as they could. With the many adversaries vanquished, it was finally time to meet Margit. With the Claymore in hand, buffed by magic and my physic, this guy went down pretty darn fast. I'll be honest, I'm not super great on this boss, and I think it's because you can scale so high above him, which means I often just blast him rather than getting good at the fight. Regardless, the heavy attacks with strength weapons just obliterate poise, making it easy to deal high damage and riposte bosses. Also, the Lion's Claw Ash of War is a little busted.
Thou art of passing skill. Warrior blood must truly run in thy veins.
See what I'm saying? I keep trying to attack. I need to quit. That's enough. There we go.
Stormveil Castle. One of the more exciting places in Elden Ring, as it feels like the only true castle. Storm it and be shot by ballistas, murdered by birds, and attacked by death itself. With all the secret areas to uncover, this place is just amazing to clear out. No major upgrades for us though, so we move on to Godrick the Grafted. This fight's probably in my top 5 Elden Ring bosses. No, he really isn't that challenging, especially if you played the game before, but all of his moves are very satisfying to dodge. You even get a nice use of the new jump system when he smashes the ground. The fire can be quite deadly in the second phase, but stay in close and he has plenty of safe windows to hit him. Feels like a perfect boss to come up against after such a dark and desolate castle.
Yes! First try.
Of all that is golden.
With the first area completed, it's now time for the Swamp, my least favorite area in the game. It's not bad, but just so empty. You need to run around for over 20 minutes collecting items, but avoiding almost every enemy. Those stupid lobsters are pointless to take on, but at least there are some fun fights regardless. I made my way through several caves getting levels, as one does. The Academy of Raya Lucaria isn't that hard, but let's not take any chances.
Okay. Oh, that did not work. Goodbye. The bloodshed strikes again.
Of course, it's time for the School of Magic, an enormous set of buildings high above the rest of the swamp. It's a place full of danger, but also magic and wonder. Hidden rooms to be uncovered, magic heads to loot, and the secret Iron Virgin that eats you to another location. It's a really fun area to explore and not really that big either. Just very compact, making it feel even better in terms of design. Don't forget about the Carrion Knight set. As a strength intelligence build, it will be important to have for aesthetic reasons. Red Wolf of Radahn is the first boss blocking our path here. A very fast magic casting wolf that doesn't have much health. Only takes a few hits to get the thing to half, but still fast enough to give you a bit of trouble. Not dodging too early is the key here. I was getting an itchy dodge finger and it really showed. The toughest thing for me in this battle is the bite attacks. It's really hard to see when the beast is nipping at you.
And I am dodging that. There's no chance I'm not. Holy cow, what an aggressive boss, man.
With that taken care of, we dodge a large ball and kill this knight. Somewhat of an obstacle at times, but the Lion's Clash of War breaks NPC fights. Literally.
Oh good, he has a gigantic freaking sword! Good to know. Well, this is a little too good, huh? That feels like cheating. Just a little bit.
And with him taken care of, we finally face Rennala, the proof that magic can't solve all your problems. First phase is easy. Hit the crawling floor ladies who are glowing and then beat the boss as much as possible. Repeat and move on. Second phase is also pretty simple as long as you stay in close, since pretty much all of her magic is ranged other than a staff twirl or two. The problem here comes from the enemies she summons. She can spawn in spirits of her own, a dragon, a giant, the Bloodhound Knight, and some wolves, all of which are pretty bothersome to be hit by. It might be a coward's way out, but seems like running always works pretty well here. Just sprint off into the distance until she's man enough to fight you one-on-one.
I can't even lock onto her because it's being goofed. Aha! Gotcha.
My dear daughter.
Now with 2 major checkpoints in the game completed, it's about time we get ourselves a great rune. I grabbed the one connected to Stormveil Castle as it grants you +5 to all stats, pumping our strength even higher, and honestly it's still crazy to me how high you can get any one stat in Elden Ring. With the Physic and a great rune, you could use a lot of weapons without ever leveling your build. Pretty fun when you know what you're doing with this stuff. Anyway, I set off to start Ranni's questline, but since Radahn isn't dead, we can't actually do any of it really. Which means it's time to do a little more decapitating.
Oh my word, dude. I am taking unnecessary damage.
Also, he's kind of playing into me right now. What? What?
Sitting around level 50, still maining strength, we get a major upgrade in terms of our weapon. Down in the underground area, you can find a pillar on its side. Climb up and enter the portal. This takes you to a cliffside just above that area, and you can find the Dragonkin soldier here.
I'm missing the majority of my heavy attacks. I just can't see them. Probably do jump attacks instead of the heavies. Heavy's a bit slow. Yeah, it makes sense. Ah, I got him with the heavy attack. Nice.
With a bit of camera struggle down, we now have the Dragon Halberd. Not only does this scale well with strength, but it also has an insane Ash of War. One that deals ice lightning, quickly applying frost to opponents. I upgraded it as much as I could and went to face Radahn. Now, the new weapon was working out quite well. Great damage, and the twirl movement is just so cool. Unfortunately, Radahn is a pretty challenging boss, and since you can summon multiple NPCs to assist you, as well as bringing your own summon, I usually just let all the other guys do the work. On my own, this was really tough. It was clear to me immediately that I had never learned his moves. Attempting to not get one-shot by several different things was annoying for sure, and that second phase is pretty scary.
One more hit. This is terrifying. Haha! Got him.
One weird thing about the Radahn fight is that afterwards you can battle a duo boss in the castle there. This is a relatively easy fight if you're leveled enough, and it's right next to the gray site, requiring no clearing of the enemies outside. Once defeated, these two drop the Ruin's Greatsword, a really hefty block of stone with a handle slapped on the bottom. Its Ash of War has crazy range, so guess what we used for the next few hours. I switched back to the Dragon Halberd later on, but this guy was good fun as long as I two-handed it. Quite the stat requirement on this one. Down in Nokron, we have an absolute blast. Definitely one of my favorite areas in the game. You have a really cool entrance to the place, an excellent view, and of course, our beloved Mimic fight.
It's too chunky, boys. This is like the funniest battle of all time. We're both super slow. Ow. Not today, Mimic. They called me the Blue Chad for a reason.
Sadly, at the end of this glorious cavern is a gargoyle fight, and it's a tough one. I died many times before just deciding to come back later. The capital outskirts have a lot to offer us at the current moment, so let's do some boss farming.
This dude's fireball is the biggest aimbot in the game. Aha! Yeah, how you feel now? How you feel now? You regret everything? I would too if I were you, bud. What just happened? That was incredible. I don't think I usually fight him with a blunt weapon. Alright, can we get this now? Yeah, alright. We almost got blighted again. I'm so close. Aha! First try? That's a nice one. I mean, he's not that different from his other guy, though. And you're dead. So even though this weapon's not upgraded to do good damage against him, just instantly being able to stun him is insane.
Now, the Draconic Tree Sentinel is blocking our path to the capital, and he doesn't really play around. Luckily, this monster blocked my way pretty hard on my first playthrough, and I learned his attacks decently well. This is one of those bosses I used to use Poison Mist on because he beat the crap out of me so badly. Now, however, it was just a matter of dodging the fireballs and being careful with my attacks.
Dang it. I did like really good, and then I got myself stuck into a pattern of just sucking. Okay, shield side, love that. Huh. First tried him too.
Of course, there's still so much to do in the game. I can't stress enough how good it feels to take on bosses in Elden Ring. With so many thrown at you, it's really great to just move from rewarding encounter to rewarding encounter.
Sorry. Just stood there. And he seems relatively easy. Yeah, low level cave. Oh yeah. Ha ha ha! It's been known to happen. Aha! The dragon goes down. Range is crap. Alright, one down, run away. See what I'm saying, man? I freaking hate this spear guy so much. Probably a good time to attack or something, but I don't know. I don't really like any of these. I like this one. Holy, how did I do it? What? What? How'd I do it? How'd I do it? All of a sudden, things just started going my way, dude.
It was around this time that I remembered I could do more of Ranni's questline without actually defeating the Gargoyles. So I went to the portal in her castle area and back underground we go. Of course, this area doesn't actually do anything for our quests, unfortunately. It's mostly looting and killing the dragon soldier of Noxtella. So I guess we just get good and defeat the Gargoyles anyway.
Okay. That's the best I've ever done, so. That is not great. Yes! Oh my word. Just over level an insane amount, and the boss is not that bad. It's not that bad. Guys, if you're having trouble, just go get 50 plus levels and come back. Jeez, dude.
After a fun ride in a coffin, we find ourselves underground once again. This time, it's a much darker area. I think the reason the underground areas feel so good is they're usually more compact. They feel like open worlds of their own, but much, much smaller, which makes exploring a bit quicker. Here we have a couple of fun things to do, but mainly fighting Lich Dragon Fortissax, a decently challenging dragon fight that was pretty fun.
Well, that was an early dodge, clearly. It's kind of like a major spam fight. Kind of weird. Is he harder than the other dragon I fought earlier? Or is he the same dragon? I don't know. Of course. Yeah, go figure. I hate getting stuck and just over-attacks over and over again. I cannot do anything. He will not let me hit him. Jeez, dude.
Finally, we could finish up Ranni's questline and get my amazing sword. But there are several bosses still in our way. Mainly Astel, the freaky alien, that's pretty annoying. Depending on what weapon you use, he can be almost impossible to hit. It'd be a really fun fight if it wasn't for that one thing. Also, this was a bit of a rage moment for me because I was just ready to get my cool sword at this point.
Here you go again. I can't hit him. Can't hit him. The whole not being able to fight your enemy properly is the worst part about some of these bosses. Can't hit him. He's kind of stuck in a corner. Don't get greedy. The worst part about it is I don't have weapons that can hit him properly.
But before we can finally finish this questline, I tried to defeat the most annoying dragon of all time, Glintstone Adula. Ridiculous magic attack, and getting frostbite completely wrecks your health. I solidly hate this dragon with a passion, as the dumb thing moves every time I start to feel good. At least the area looks stunning, but still, what a pain.
Am I gonna die here? Probably. Have I used every heal in the game to survive every boss fight? Yes. Do I care? No. I hate this dragon. I hate this dragon so much. I hate this dragon, and I hope he dies. I hope his family dies. I hope his mom dies, and his dad dies. And that's honest. That's from the heart, right? You're not supposed to say things like that, but that's from the heart. I hope all of the dragon people, the dragon families, I hope they die. I hope they die. I never want to see their stupid faces again.
But finally, we're granted the Dark Moon Greatsword by the Ice Princess Ranni. And after collecting Blythe's full set of armor, it's finally all coming together. After a solid 24 hours in Elden Ring, we could finally play the game. It's safe to say the Dark Moon Greatsword is pretty OP. I mean, it costs very little FP to charge your sword, and then every heavy attack shoots frost magic across the screen. You're out of harm's way and dealing enough damage to topple enemies in seconds. I loved this sword, and it's probably my new favorite weapon in the game now. I used it to clear the capital with ease, and while I was a little scared of what Morgott might do to me, it wasn't even worth bothering over.
Holy freaking cow, that damage is too good. I'm not gonna lie though, his damage is pretty good too. Okay. Didn't expect this to be this good, but...
Stained by my curse. Such anguish cannot bear.
Was that a boss fight? Was that a boss
Be
fight?
forgiven.
What?
Yeah, it turns out no summons is actually easy once you get your hands on certain weapons. I did attempt to kill Rykard with this sword, although it's just way easier with the spear they give you. Upgrade that a few times and it's a hilarious fight. Also, the way this weapon acts in the boss arena with all of the wind attacks is too cool to not use. It's a concept brought all the way from Demon Souls, and of course it's from Dark Souls 3 as well. I personally consider this boss in my top 5 Elden Ring boss fights. Yeah, it's gimmicky, but that's the point. The weapon is so much fun to use, it doesn't really matter if it's not that hard with it. Stunning a literal snake god with wind blades has a certain effect on a person.
It's just so much fun, man. It is an extremely fun fight.
Mohg the Lord of Blood, hidden away in the desolate underground chasm. Even though this sword was top-notch and dealing excellent damage, I had some trouble here. The range at which this man's weapon hits you is absurd, and the blood magic slowly whittles away at your health, requiring you to also stare at the ground. I tried to just chug heals when he instantly bleeds you, but it wasn't working. So instead, I inserted the tear into my flask that makes you immune to that bleed effect power. Rather than taking a bunch of damage myself, I could deal a bunch of damage, which shortened the second phase by quite a bit. Regardless, it still took a while to get down, as that second phase is pretty chaotic.
I just forget he has secondary stuff, you know? Yes, baby, let's go!
Once inside the Halig tree, things were starting to get serious again. This place is quite fun, honestly. It's got a lot of different environments to explore, and a lot of different enemies are here too. But there's only one reason to come to Halig tree, and that's to bend over and get spanked by the goddess of rot. Malenia was tough. Heck, she was more than tough. She was a nightmare. Around 135 deaths before I finally took her down. And you know what's crazy? I got her to second phase in the first try. The next 100 or so, not so much. The waterfowl is really punishing. Get too greedy and she activates it, not giving you any time to run away. You can apparently knock her out of this with frozen pots, but since I was already butting my head against a wall, I wanted to actually dodge the attack and get good. Sometimes this takes a lot longer than you might think.
Thought that'd knock her down, it didn't. freaking go, baby! Yeah!
The mark.
Let's go! Yes!
In the end, this was the most satisfying boss to defeat, and since she is the hardest boss in Elden Ring, things can only go up from here. Right? Fire Giant is blocking our path to burning the tree, and he sucks. Yeah, it's a relatively easy fight with such a powerful magic weapon, but come on, everything in this fight is bad. Terrible camera, way too much movement from the boss, insane health to take down, and fire blazing everywhere. The spectacle's there, but after 1 or 2 deaths, you don't really care about spectacle anymore.
Excellent.
Once in Farum Azula, there's the major roadblock of the Godskin Duo. Everybody's favorite roadblock, of course. But after fighting these guys multiple times each around the map, I wasn't having it. Sleep pots were thrown, and this much damage really is not fair. But neither is a duo fight, so it all adds up in the end.
Made this fight a lot easier, didn't it? Still possible to die.
Before heading up to Maliketh, I did want to go fight Dragonlord Fortissax. Placidicus. It's the Dragonlord. This fight can be accessed by jumping off a series of cliffs, and it's pretty secret. I had never fought in this boss yet, as I couldn't find the arena before. This time, however, I did take him on, and yeah, this was probably my favorite Elden Ring boss. Flashy moves, an epic arena, and he stands still for a little bit, letting you hit him. Felt kinda nice for a change.
Ha! Look at that. Did it. Excellent.
With such an epic fight out of the way, it's on to Maliketh. This monster is pretty darn tough. Surprise. His attacks can be hard to dodge, and he's really fast. Took me a couple of tries to get things going, but something kind of weird happened. I sort of got really lucky, but I'll let you watch for yourself.
What?
Yeah, I just poise broke him and then got a lot of free attacks. Seems sometimes Souls games are nice. Sometimes. Now that the capital is overrun with sand, I went into the sewers. I don't need to, but it's all about completion. And I hate this area. Crazy cool lore and design behind this desolate trash heap, but it sucks. I don't really do well with puzzles in Souls games. Like, I get extremely lost easily, so this vast section of pipes always gets me turned around. This was all just to kill the Mohg copy boss, and to do the jumping puzzle behind it, because why not, we're having fun. But in all reality, it's time to wrap up the game. Oralu gave me the business. The first phase isn't bad, but his aggressive melee swings in the second hurt my very soul. I was getting knocked into his next hit, and then his next hit, and then his next hit. It was looking pretty bad for a while, as I was not seeing the delays all that well.
Figured out the delayed stomp, and then he just spammed that. That was nice.
And finally, we come to the end of the epic run. Radahn beat me up for a bit, as I never remember his moves after not playing for a bit. But with a couple of tries, things started to fall into place. Here is the final, and dare I say, epic boss fight in Elden Ring, fought with no summons.
Okay, that's not bad. I can live with that. Alright, that's where I had him last time. I don't know what to do about this freaking star thing. I don't know what to do with the star. The star insta-kills me. Luckily I have enough heals this time. Hopefully it's enough, though. Only 2 heals left. Dual wield. Alright, take my left. I have 1 heal left. Here we go. There, let's go, baby. It's a nice one. I actually kind of like that boss fight now that I played it a little bit more.
And there you have it, my first time beating Elden Ring with no summons. The game is much more challenging when you don't have something taking enemy aggression, and boss fights with more than one enemy are a lot less fair. But this does force you to master the combat, understanding movesets enough to try and stay alive through massive OP moves, while attempting to get more damage off yourself. Yep, Elden Ring is an amazing game, and dare I say it's even more amazing without summons. I accidentally took the boring ending there at the end because I forgot Ronnie's sign was behind me. Plus, everyone said Via's ending sucked, but regardless, we did it. Yet another Tarnished sits upon the throne. Thanks to everyone who watched all the way through. This was an amazing journey. I was more familiar with Elden Ring as I had beaten this one a few times before trying this, but the challenge of no summons really spiced things up and got me invested. I greatly appreciate those who support the channel, and a special shout out to those who made it to the live stream. May your strength grow and your intelligence blossom in the lands between.